Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the broadcast tonight. A very impromptu broadcast, if you will. I did not expect to be making this Jaguars video as soon as I have been, but we have breaking news live at 10:30 p.m. on the East Coast. This has been one of the craziest, most zaniest head coaching decisions in NFL history. When it's all said and done, Liam Coen, Buccaneers offensive coordinator, is about to become the 10th head coach in Jacksonville Jaguars franchise history. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the live broadcast, live reaction for uncovering this story. I cannot believe that this is happening. After the whirlwind of news yesterday, Liam Coen, Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator, he re-signed with Tampa Bay originally. The pen was never put to paper, so after the Jaguars fired Trent Baalke at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time yesterday, Liam Coen, once again, verbally agreed to a contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to stay as their offensive coordinator. They're about to make him one of the highest paid offensive coordinators. And in the 11th hour, the Jaguars fired Trent Baalke at a pure disgust, ending outside of 2022, a absolutely horrendous 4-year reign as general manager. I mean, I talked about in my Doug Peterson getting fired video last week. Trent Baalke was not a good enough GM to be warranted 3 head coaches. So Shah Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, fires Trent Baalke. And I guess Liam Coen, who knew Jacksonville really wanted him, elects to stay away from Tampa, rip up the new deal he just signed, verbally agreed to, and is again finalizing a contract right now at the second, 10:32 p.m. Eastern time in Jacksonville, Florida, about to become the 10th coach in franchise history. Absolutely wild story. If you have been keeping track of it all day long, it started off with, the contract was never officially signed. Todd Bowles is wondering where Liam Coen is. I don't know if this report is true or not, but the report says Liam Coen was at the hospital with his kid who was supposedly sick, but then he threw it around and said, the Jaguars fired, in lamest terms, the Jaguars fired Trent Baalke, so I maybe want to give that organization another opportunity, maybe another interview. It was very clear heading into this offseason, Jacksonville was going to target an offensive-minded coach. And when all this Robert Saleh rumors appeared for Jacksonville, I didn't really know what was going on, because when you have a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence entering into his 5th season, I believe he's turning 26, he's still pretty young and he still has not reached that number 1 overall pick status potential. Some will argue Trevor Lawrence is a bust. I don't think so at all, and that's not what this video is about. But if you want this generational prospect in college to reach that full potential, here's the opportunity. You give him an offensive mastermind as a head coach. And that's why a lot of Jaguar fans were clamoring for Liam Coen, for Ben Johnson, for Joe Brady, for Kellen Moore, for Clint Kubiak. This is why we wanted these offensive-minded coaches. The defense struggled. Ryan Nelson was a big disappointment. But, and I get, okay, Saleh wanted to come to Jacksonville for the head coaching gig. He's not going to be interested in taking a defensive coordinator position with the Jaguars. He's going to go back to San Francisco, where he originally made a name for himself. Totally fine with that. And now you've been interviewing Thomas Graham, the Raiders defensive coordinator. Maybe that's someone you potentially go after as the new DC. But barring any unforeseen circumstances, Liam Coen's about to become the new head coach of the Jaguars. And to be honest, it seems right that the Jaguars, they realized they screwed up. Shad Khan said, listen, I have to save this franchise. I have put us in such a turmoil mess. I got to dig myself out of the hole that I need to dig myself out of the hole I just dug myself into. And he did just that by firing Trent Baalke. The news about firing Baalke came about 3 hours or so after Coen extended a contract with Tampa Bay yesterday. And, I don't blame Liam Coen for doing that. He's a snake, and Tampa Bay absolutely has all the right in the world to be upset, all the Tampa Bay fans and even Tampa Bay's front office. And I get this isn't a great look for the league, verbally agreeing to a contract, but the pen's not on the paper. I could technically talk to a different organization. I get it. And that's a bad look for Liam Coen. But at the end of the day, if you're in the coaching staff department, you strive to be the head coach. And it seemed like Ben Johnson didn't want to work with Trent Baalke. It seemed like Kellen Moore didn't want to work with Trent Baalke. And obviously Liam Coen 110% now confirmed he did not. I don't know what Jacksonville goes here for GM. I don't really know the top GM available. Maybe they promote someone inside the organization. I know the Raiders fired their GM after only one season. I think the Titans also fired their GM this offseason. Not two I'd really want to go after. So the GM, that whole thing is still going to have to be fulfilled. But now with Liam Coen as your head coach, presumably on a multi-year contract, you can use him, use Trevor Lawrence, use guys like Brian Thomas Jr., Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen, use these guys, Tyson Campbell even when healthy, use these guys as young pieces to build around. I have been thrilled with what the New England Patriots have been doing this offseason. They know they have a young roster. They are bringing in coaching staffs that work with young players. I think Josh McDaniels is going to help Drake May develop into a great quarterback. The Patriots are also taking a stab with a brand new defensive coordinator coming over from the Lions. Mike Vrabel already putting this to work. And I think the Patriots are going to have a much better season than a lot of people may be thinking. We'll see about after free agency and the draft. For Jacksonville, they very well could be in a similar boat. Remember, this was a team that made the playoffs just 2 years ago. And I know the 8-3 start in 2023, they collapsed, finished 9-8, missed the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. And then this year, finishing 4-13, horrendous. And I get that. And I know the Jaguars making the playoffs just 2 seasons ago does feel like an eternity ago, as does a lot of things in the Jaguars organization. But Shad Khan, I think, for the first time in a long time, he cared about the fan base, the city of Jacksonville, and fellow players and coaches in the organization. You have nothing to lose. Doug Peterson's gone, which by de facto pretty much means Press Taylor's gone. And normally new head coaches like to bring in their own coordinators, case in point what Doug Peterson did with Press Taylor in 2022. Typically, these coaches are going to bring in their own staff. So I think Ryan Nelson's gone. I don't necessarily think anyone from Tampa Bay follows Coen over to Jacksonville in year one, maybe down the road, sure. But I don't really know what this coaching staff is going to look like. My dream scenario, and this is going to be pretty friggin' impossible to do. My dream scenario, Coen as the head coach, by some miracle, if we could get Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator, that would be massive towards Trevor's development. He's done a good job in helping develop guys like Kyler Murray, and this season with Jaden Daniels. And, of course, defensive coordinator Trent Graham of the Raiders. I mean, you've already been interviewing him. You've already even brought up the head coaching position to him. Why not bring him in as a defensive coordinator? Sure, the Raiders' pass defense wasn't necessarily good last year. Run defense is fine, and just to be honest, the Jaguars secondary is better than the Raiders secondary. So if you are giving Graham a better talent pool of players, I don't see why he shouldn't take the defensive coordinator job. And again, the offensive coordinator now is, we don't know what we're doing. Joe Brady's not going to want to leave Buffalo if he's not going to be the head coach somewhere. And that I completely understand. Kind of the same thing with Ben Johnson going to Chicago. He wasn't going to take another offensive coordinator position. He was taking the head coaching job. Unless a team like the Jets or the Jets hired Aaron Glenn yesterday as well. So unless really, who's the only team that doesn't have a head coach right now? The Raiders. I'm pretty sure the Raiders. Yeah, I mean, they could certainly go after Cliff Kingsbury, especially since just like the Commanders this year drafting Jaden Daniels, the Raiders are probably going to have a rookie quarterback in that situation. So maybe the Raiders take a stab at Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not sure. As for Liam Coen, though, I think this is going to be a tremendous hire for Jacksonville. I really do. Again, for Coen, it's a freaking brutal look. You made a lot of enemies in this league. Changing your mind at the 11th hour and signing with, your fellow in-state, I guess not rival, but fellow in-state team. But at the same time, if you're Coen, you've been the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay the past couple of seasons. You are a big reason as to why Baker Mayfield has had the career resurgence that we've seen. I certainly would imagine if Jacksonville approaches the offseason correctly, if we draft Will Campbell with our first-round pick, Jaguars kind of struggling on the O-line. Not really sure what the Walker Little extension was about. I've been against that signing since day one. I wanted Will Campbell to get drafted out of LSU with, I believe we had the fifth pick in the draft this year. I wanted Campbell to get drafted, be the left tackle, and have Antoine Harrison be the right tackle. I don't know where that would put Walker Little. Now that we extended Walker Little, I don't really think they're going to go Will Campbell with the fifth pick. And that makes me think we're going defense. And the D-line has been pretty brutal the past couple of years. So maybe you go Mason Graham out of Michigan. That's probably who Jacksonville's going to go with right now. Or Will Johnson, a corner. Obviously, Jacksonville would like a corner because Ronald Darby is not coming back. And Tyson Campbell could really use some help. I think this is also the year where Andre Sisco's contract expires. I'd love to re-sign Sisco. And again, with this young talent pool and now with a young, hungry head coach, if I'm not mistaken, Liam Coen's only 39, which puts him in the top 5 youngest head coaches in the league. Yeah, he's 39 right now with his birthday just in November. And he's, again, been a very strong offensive-minded coach. Oh, my God, and they just edited it right on the Wikipedia page. He's the head coach for the Jaguars. That's so funny. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for the Rams back in 2022, the year after they won the Super Bowl. Then he went back to college, was the offensive coordinator for Kentucky, was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for the Buccaneers this year, and now is expected to be the Jaguars head coach in a matter of moments. This is a guy, again, 39 years old, and he's bounced around, especially with the Rams and Buccaneers organizations. But he does have some NFL experience, which is good. And again, I think him taking the full reins, being the offensive coordinator, I think it's going to work. And thank you, Gator John. I completely agree with you. If Trent Baalke was not relieved of his duties yesterday afternoon, no shot, Coen. Instead of this video is probably me ranting about Trent Baalke getting fired and how garbage his tenure was outside of 2022. The other thing you got to realize, too, about Baalke is, I mean, we are looking at a guy that brought in 3 horrific free agents this past season. You know, Baalke, he does more than just the trades and the drafting. Obviously, you know, I was against trading Roy Robertson Harris, maybe was against trading Cam Robinson. But at the end of the day, you know, if you're a rebuilding team, you want some draft picks. As I stated in my Doug Peterson getting fired video last week, obviously Brian Thomas Jr. being the best pick of the draft. Who was the second? I mean, was it Josh Jones? Was it Cameron Little? I mean, outside of really those 3 players, no rookie had that crazy, wow factor to it. Mason Smith hasn't done a whole lot. And I know the running back we drafted out of Texas, I believe his last name's Robinson, he was injured all year. He's supposedly going to be our special teams guy moving forward, so we'll see what happens there. Still a lot of untapped potential in this past year's draft, but at the same time, it's the organizational moves. Trading for Mac Jones, a 6th-round pick, really, when a lot of quarterbacks were still available in free agency. You trade for Mac Jones, a 6th-round pick where no other team would even budge for a 7th. You trade a 6th. I didn't agree with that. Gabe Davis, terrible signing. Eric Armstead, terrible signing. Ronald Darby, the worst of the bunch. And that's amazing because Gabe Davis was injured for half the year, and Eric Armstead was invisible. You couldn't find him on the side of a milk carton. At the end of the day, what has Baalke done? Baalke lowballed Calvin Ridley. And I guess in hindsight, that ended up being a great move. But he didn't re-sign a lot of talent, like Calvin Ridley, like Arden Key, like Brandon McManus. Oh, my God. Remember when Evan Ingram was about to leave? Remember that whole thing heading into the 2023 season? Evan Ingram wanted to hold out? I mean, oh my God. I mean, Trent Baalke could have mangled this. And let's not forget, I don't want to go really early on in his 10 here, but I'm going to dig the hole now that Baalke's gone. I'm going to drill it in a little bit. Travis Etienne's been fine. He had a horrendous year this year. I still think he's the franchise running back. He's going into a contract year, so we'll see how Etienne plays this year. But, oh, my God, can we stick with the running back? We had James Robinson, who was a fine starter to begin with. And now the poor James Robinson's essentially out of the league. He's been a free agent the past couple of years. I think his last team he played for was the Saints back in the preseason. So you basically kick Robinson to the curb for no reason, 2 seasons after having 1,000 yards as an undrafted player. And then in 2020, after the 2022 season, you go out and you draft a power back in the 3rd round. Now, Tank Bigsby had a good season this year. His rookie season was not very good at all. But you draft Tank Bigsby while re-signing Dearness Johnson, essentially taking away carries from Etienne and Bigsby. That didn't make a lot of sense. We should have upgraded the running back room in the draft. I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. It will be determined on, like I said, Etienne's going into a contract year. So I do think if Jacksonville's going to move on from Etienne, it will be after this upcoming year. And I also completely agree. Having Arden Key go to a division rival sucked. He was really impactful on the 2022 Jaguars defense. I'm trying to confirm. Adam Schefter posted 27 minutes ago. It wasn't confirmed. That's why I put finalizing in the header there. But his Wikipedia page said that it was confirmed. We also got a couple of confirmations from Jordan Schultz, from Ari Merov, from Dove K and a couple other of insiders, NFLTradeRumors.com, and Nicole Meaner. So a lot of, I guess, official Liam Coen signing with the Jaguars news just broke. And obviously, as a Jaguar fan, I was going to cover this news tonight, and I couldn't be more thrilled that I am able to share my excitement with you all, because I posted on my Instagram yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, we're getting Robert Saleh. Now, this was before Baalke got canned, but I was convinced less than 48 hours ago, oh my God, Robert Saleh, he was originally going to go to Jacksonville tomorrow for a second interview right there. Boom, he's going to be the head coach. And I'm like, I've never lambasted a Jaguars head coaching hire. Well, I mean, I became a fan of the team when Gus Bradley was the coach. I didn't really have much of a say when Doug Marrone was, he got promoted. I was like, oh, cool, I guess. We beat Tennessee with him as an interim. So I was like, okay. And then, Urban Meyer, I never overhyped Urban Meyer. I never underhyped him. I was like, you want to know what? Very rare college coaches adapt in the NFL, but you want to know what? If Urban Meyer does, great. Outright disaster. Doug Peterson, not my first choice, but to build a culture, sure, I'm fine with it. All right, and again, Doug Marrone and Doug Peterson look like absolute genius hires during their first year. The issue with the Jaguars franchise is that we struggle to build, stability. We struggle to stay competitive for multiple years in a row. The only reason why I think Peterson and Baalke even stayed for the 2024 season, it's because, oh my God, it's because we finished 9-8, and it was the first time we finished above 500 back-to-back years since like the mid-2000s. Like, guys, you don't understand. When I first became a fan of the Jaguars in 2013, they got absolutely romped by the Colts. This is my first memory of the Jaguars, watching Red Zone with my family. I'm just seeing the Colts running up the score in the Jaguars. I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad. The Jaguars stink. I need to become a fan of this team. They need supporters, right? And then basically once they drafted Blake Bortles, the rest was history. I was a committed fan since. But I remember watching Chad Henne, Blaine Gabbert, the whole Justin Blackmon's never going to play down in the NFL again, wasting a second-round pick on TJ Yeldon, wasting a first-round pick on Luke Jokel and Taven Bryan and CJ Henderson and Caleb on Chason, and I'm done with this crap. I want to see a competitive team. Brian Thomas Jr. is on pace to become the franchise's best receiver in franchise history, or at least somewhere on the caliber of Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell, who are borderline Pro Football Hall of Famers. Oh my God, Trevor Lawrence, the best quarterback we've had since Mark Brunell. Oh my God. I was -1 when Brunell was traded to the Washington Commanders in 2003. I was -1. My God. I mean, really. Really. And believe me, Bortles, he's my favorite player in this franchise's history, but Trevor's been the best quarterback we've had since Brunell, and you don't want to waste it. We have seen so many times teams wasting quarterback talents. The Lions did it with Matthew Stafford. The Saints did it with the majority of Drew Brees' career. Yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Just need to move in a positive direction. I completely agree. Fans of King now balding. If you have stuck around with this team since 1995, round of applause, because you've probably remember more than I do, especially the garbage that was the Mike Mularkey era and getting blown out by New England in the 2005 wild card round, and oh my God, I mean, and all these terrible draft picks, man. I have been so sick and tired of these like that's what makes me so happy about guys like Trevor and even ETN, even though he was frustrating this year. I'm like, dude, let's roll with it. Like, whenever the Jaguars hit on a first round pick, I get so happy because they're so hit or miss. Love to see that I have some OG Jaguar fans in the chat. That is awesome. And most importantly, these are the ones I'm most happy for. when the Jaguars make these great moves because, again, since Shad Khan has took over the Jaguars before the 2013 season or 2012, I think it was 2013 though, when they changed their logo. They have had only 2 playoff appearances since. And thankfully I'm old enough to remember Jacksonville and obviously 2022. I was live on YouTube commentating the Jaguars-Chargers playoff game. And, oh my God, that comeback was just – that showed that team should have had potential. And the 2022 Jaguars should have not flamed out after a year and a half, man. They really shouldn't have. And here's the time to right the wrong. Enough of this being a joke of an organization for the last 20 years. Enough of this crap. You hire the head coach. Shad Khan has the balls. He didn't want to do it, but he had the balls to fire Trent Baalke to bring in the head coach Shad Khan wanted. At the end of the day, this is who Khan wanted. This is who he's going to get. And again, with hiring Coen, he brings in his own coaching staff. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be ready to go, man. I really hope this is the year in the next couple of years Trevor Lawrence breaks out because man, I really don't think the 2022 season was his ceiling. I really hope it wasn't. Guys like Baker Mayfield under Liam Coen, late bloomers, but hey, they eventually got there. Look at Sam Darnold coming out of nowhere, throwing 35 touchdowns this year. Really, man, coaching is so important in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news from Rick Stroud confirming Liam Coen is now informed the Bucs he has agreed to become the Jaguars coach. 4 minutes ago, by Rick Stroud, insider for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, confirmation 4 minutes ago that Liam Coen is now officially the head coach of the Jaguars as he just notified Tampa Bay he will be accepting the position. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. And I'm back in college. I feel like I gotta pipe down. It's almost 11 o'clock, but man, I cannot express how excited I am. Oh my God. I mean, wow. And there it is. 4 minutes ago, Liam Coen announcing to the Buccaneers organization he's going to take the job. So that pretty much has made it official if it wasn't already. And also, for any San Francisco 49ers fans watching, I should also include Robert Saleh is going to likely become your defensive coordinator. Don't be shocked if that's announced later tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. Wow. That's crazy. Wow. We've been talking about it for 28 minutes. I've shared my excitement. Chat, have at it, I guess. If you are really excited, I don't know, explain what you're most excited for in the chat. And this is just the beginning of the offseason. We got the coach. Now we need the GM. And I think Liam Coen is going to be a draw for a potential GM opening. This is going to be massive. It's going to be a huge persuasive decision for a GM to come here. They're going to want to be under a young head coach. Look at these young head coaches, Nick Sirianni, Sean McVay. These guys are young and they have, experienced playoff success. Sean McVay has made 2 Super Bowls and he's been the coach for the Rams since when? 2017, I believe. My goodness. I mean, it really shows you how important coaching is in the NFL. I, too, would completely agree. I want to bring back the Prowlers, man. We should have worn our throwback jerseys more than twice this year. Absolutely agree. I want to go back to the old logo. But, my goodness. Brand new team. This could obviously be a failure. I don't want to talk about that, but, this could obviously be a failure. And in a couple of years, we could be talking about how much of a failure this was and how, maybe sticking with Doug could have been a great idea. We don't know. That's what's risky about the future. But all I'm going to say right now is if we got Liam Coen, If we got Ben Johnson, if we got Joe Brady, Kellen Moore, I'm thrilled. If we got Robert Saleh, I would have been a little disappointed. But, oh my goodness. I can't believe it. But man, I get it, and I see a couple of comments in the chat. It's such a bad look. He's ruining his reputation. Did he burn a bridge or 10? Oh yeah, but oh yeah. Oh yeah. And if I'm a Tampa Bay fan, I'm probably on YouTube right now, ranting, raving, and screaming and saying he's a traitor, he's a snake. Absolutely, absolutely, he is. But I am on the receiving end. Duval County is on the receiving end of a brand new coach, and that at least makes me happy. But obviously, if you're a Tampa Bay fan or an NFL fan, like casually watching from the outside, did Coen make a mistake leaving Tampa Bay? Probably. I mean, he had it made. Todd Bowles potentially on the hot seat. He was obviously going to be the interim if Bowles got fired next season. No question about it, but hey, you know what? He wants more money. He wants the better opportunity, and the better opportunity is being the head coach of a franchise. Jacksonville is a team that, again, I mean, outside of a little bloop in 2017 and 2022, have not been consistently good since the turn of the freaking millennium, before I was born. Oh, yeah. I want to see this team contend a little bit. You know, I really do. I don't think the Titans rebuild's over. I don't think the Colts really have a sense of direction at the moment. Houston's still the best team in the division, but if Jacksonville could somehow match them roster-wise, I think it's close. I mean, you see how teams this year, like Washington, Denver, Minnesota, I mean, you make a coaching change, these teams can become good. And again, it's going to be really interesting who the Jaguars hire as the offensive coordinator. I'm not really sure who Liam Coen has connections with, as stated previously. He has a little bit of connections with the Rams organization. So maybe we bring in like a Rams assistant or something. I mean, again, Coen is another example too. Like people like Kyle Shanahan and other examples not coming to me off the top of the dome. But if you come from a Sean McVay system, you could probably run an offense. And that is what Shad Khan is betting on right here. I'm just catching up with the chat. He went for money. I know. It's dirty money, but money's money. Also, keep in mind, I know, and I do see a couple of stadium comments. The Jaguars are getting a new stadium. I believe in 28 is when their new dome is going to be built. So, again, this is where Shad Khan is saying, listen, you know, I invested millions, damn near $1 billion in a brand new stadium. I'm not going to have this team a joke, and I'm sick and tired of pissing off the fan base. They want Trent Baalke gone. They want Liam Coen. That's what they got. For the first time in, oh my God, in a long time, it seems like Shad Khan finally threw the fans a bone. Was Liam Coen a snake in doing this? Absolutely. And again, as I repeated on the top of the broadcast, Liam Coen agreed to a contract with Tampa Bay, but the pen was never signed. The pen was never put to paper. So even though he verbally agreed to signing with Tampa Bay, he absolutely went against their back. Oh, Jaguars fired their GM. And he flew off to Jacksonville and has been spending the whole day there. And they just essentially now just got a contract done. I'll probably be wrapping up in a few minutes, but that tweet about Coen informing the Buccaneers about him becoming the new head coach, that leads me to believe that it is now official. I'm pretty sure it is. There's no way it isn't by this point. Wow. Yep. And it is also official, now confirmed 2 minutes ago by News 4 in Jacksonville, Florida, that he is in fact the new head coach, as multiple sources say on Thursday night. And again, that's coming from Channel 4 News, Jacksonville's top news station for Jaguars stuff. Wow, I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. Yeah, he burned a bridge. He absolutely burnt a bridge. But he had to do what he had to do. He wanted the money, he wanted the power. Yeah, that's what he got. At the end of the day, Coen was playing chess while Tampa Bay was playing checkers. And I don't think, I'm assuming this is against the NFL rulebook, but, if the contract was announced publicly, you would think Coen would have had to message Shah Khan and hey, if you don't fire Baalke right now, I'm signing this contract. If you fire him, I'll be over first thing tomorrow morning. At the end of the day, only Shah Khan and Liam Coen and maybe Trent Baalke and maybe the Buccaneers GM only knows what the heck happened. At the end of the day, I really hope the story develops. It has been one of the craziest head coaching hires in NFL history. If this is really how it went down, my God. But yeah, man, I can't believe it. And I am very happy as a Jaguar fan. Again, we're all happy right now. This could certainly be a failure. It certainly could be. We are notorious for hiring these very, very mediocre head coaches that, don't really develop into anything. This is very Gus Bradley-like in the sense of you hire a young coordinator in hopes he can steer the ship a different direction from having such a horrible team. I don't know, but we'll see. Right now, I'm very happy. Too Evil to Hope, how are you doing, my friend? One of the OGs of the channel right there, always stopping by, commenting, making Urban Meyer jokes. Make them! That's 3 years ago. Brand new head coach. My God, this is already the second head coach we've had since firing Meyer. Well, not including an interim. My God, what a freaking joke of a team this is. But you want to know what? Right when all of the fans were about to turn their back on the franchise, Shah Khan said, I don't think so. Very interested to see who the GM's going to be. But that will be a different story for a different day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to wrap up this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wild one. I was not expected to go on 11:07 p.m. Once again, for those questioning, it is not official in the chat. It has not been reported by Adam Schefter. However, it has been reported by numerous other sites. Jordan Schultz, Jacksonville News, Channel 4, and a couple of other NFL insiders. There's also a recent rumor floating around that Liam Coen has already informed the Buccaneers front office that he will be accepting the position with the Jaguars. Again, Tampa Bay fans, I get it. You're mad. Absolutely should be. He burnt a bridge. He broke some sort of code, and maybe the NFL is going to start an investigation on that. I have no idea. I'm not here to speculate. I'm just here to tell the news, in my opinion. At the end of the day, the Jaguars did what they needed to do, and that was hire the coach that can unlock Trevor Lawrence's potential and bring hope. May not be a lot of hope, but bring some hope at least to the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had an absolute blast here tonight. Please subscribe here on YouTube, especially if you are a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. I'll be making videos about the draft, about free agent signings. We'll do some predictions next year. NFL content, NHL content, MLB content. I even watch NASCAR content, whatever. We'll throw that in there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. 904 City, Duval. We are back for now. My goodness. It'll probably be officially announced tomorrow, but it is as official as it'll get at 11:09 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great day to be a Jaguar. I haven't said that since the day after the wild card win against the Chargers. But today is a good day to be a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. Liam Coen finalizing a contract to become the 10th head coach in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Have a great night. I hope to see you guys in future videos.